From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And it is that time for this shizzo. So, only way to go. So pretty much, it is what it is at the end of the day. But this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, and we got ourselves. It's Thursday, man. We're getting to the end of the week and everything like that. You know, it's college basketball night tonight. We got 75 games in CBB tonight as well, too. Also, we have 7 in the NBA, and we still got some news to talk about. So, what's in the news today? Well, today it's this is what's in the news with Brady retiring. Will the Raiders pursue Aaron Rodgers for a reunion with Adams? I'm saying this on the brink of Aaron Rodgers actually buying a house. Rumored to be buying a house out in Las Vegas at the time. They said that he's looking at a house in Summerlin at this time. And that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to come play for the Raiders or anything like that. It just means that he's possibly moving to the Las Vegas suburb of Summerlin. So if the Raiders are pursuing Aaron Rodgers, I would say that would have been a better option anyway, because Tom Brady is very old. Tom Brady seems very kind of distracted a little bit now because he doesn't have the perfect home life anymore. And I don't know if I can trust this Tom. You know, you have to understand, when you have things working out in your life the way that Tom did, it's easy for you to go do your work and be happy about doing your work and everything like that, because you go home and you're going home to a great family. When that family wasn't there anymore, you could see that in Tom Brady's play, that it kind of affected him, that it only just became about football, and it was no turnoff point with football, and he's too old to be at that point where it's no turnoff point with football. You know what I mean? So you bring in Rodgers. Will Rodgers be able to get you to the promised land? Probably not, because right now the Raiders are a team that really do need to look at the fact that they're about to get rid of a quarterback that they've had for the last 9 years, who wasn't necessarily the problem, but their new coach wants to move on from that situation because he wants to have his own quarterback. Now, him having his own quarterback, that means that he's going to go draft the quarterback. And I think that's exactly what the Raiders truly are going to do here at the end of the day. The Raiders are trying to work out some more draft capital, whatever they can do to move up in that draft as well, too. Now, if they get a team that gets a little anxious and says, we want to really get us a quarterback that can contribute right away, the Raiders can move, use that to get some more picks as well, too, on Carr. But I still think that the best bet is to really figure out if you're going to be able to get one of these rookie quarterbacks. There's 3 of them that are slated for the top 10 right now. So the Raiders have their opportunity to at least get one of them. And from what I'm hearing, a lot of people are saying that the Raiders are very high on CJ Stroud. So that could work out as well, too. A little Ohio connection with McDaniels, and, him going to the university, him going to John Carroll College, and also going to McKinley, my mom's high school out in Canton. So pretty much there it is with that. I think that this will wind up being just a bunch of hot air, because Aaron Rodgers is a very, very historic quarterback. He's a quarterback that is generational. Yes, we know that. But at this point in time, the Raiders just don't need any more toxicity. It's just that simple. The Raiders need to make sure that they have a quarterback in place that's there for the long term, not a guy who's here for the short term and you're being a stopgap. It would be just all what you would be doing is putting a band-aid on the problem. And it doesn't work like that for me in this opinion. But I know that Josh McDaniels is trying to figure out a way to stay in great graces of Mark Davis. He has Mark Davis's trust at the moment. But once Mark Davis hears way too much coming from the black hole, then that's when he'll probably want to move on. So, the Raiders just can't afford to move on from this coach. That's why they're moving on from their quarterback. And they just really, I think, aren't going to pursue this situation as heavy as they want the Raiders to pursue it. It's just not the right choice. It's not a good fit, because if Aaron Rodgers is already kind of a nuisance in Green Bay and kind of punking them in a sense, he's not going to be able to do those same things with the Raiders. So, yeah, I don't think this is happening. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep following this story, but I think that it's just a lot of hot smoke. I'll keep it real with you. All right, so we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into some college basketball. We got UCLA, number 9 in the nation, looking to bounce back tonight at Pauley versus Washington. Yes, UCLA has lost their last 2 games, but they were able to get a whole week off. They didn't have to go with the rigors of 2 games and within 48 hours of each other. So they're actually well rested coming into this game. They're going against a Washington team that's been struggling mightily here since they started conference play. This team did pretty much figure it out, though. In January, they were able to finish up the month 4-2 to be exact. Actually, they're actually 4-4, but they were able to win 4 out of 6 here. Okay, but they have dropped their last 2 out of 3. So they had a nice little 3-game winning streak for a moment there. But when you look at who they were beating Stanford and Colorado and California all in consecutive games. And then they got a nice little win over Arizona State last Thursday by 3. That was at home. And then they got absolutely crushed by Arizona, the number 6 team in the nation. So I look at this and I say to myself, UCLA already play these guys. They beat them by 25 in that game. And that was on the first day of the year. So they are very confident in this game tonight, coming in the Bruins. You know what I mean? Because they've already beat up on these guys. And it's at Pauley, too. That game was on the road as well. And UCLA was still getting into their own little groove at that point. But now they're right where they want to be. Even though they've lost their last 2 games, those were against 2 of the tougher teams in the conference as well. When you look at the conference standings, they lost to 2 teams that are behind them in the conference standings. You know what I mean? And those were their first losses in conference as well, too. So UCLA could easily be 10-0 right now in conference play. So they're just cruising along, trying to get themselves to the finish line as the number 1 seed. And they know that it's really just them in Arizona at the end of the day. That's just that's the team that they really have to focus in on. Now, UCLA does want to get the bounce back today in this spot, because you can't lose here, because they might get unranked if they lose this one. But UCLA is doing a lot of good things here, and their defense is just immaculate right now. They're forcing almost 10 turnovers a game. They're also their assist to turnover ratio is one of the best in the nation as well, too. They could improve a little bit on the free throw end, but that's a lot of teams in all senses of the word. And then the UCLA is not a heavy scoring team. They're averaging about 75 a game, and points scored, they're actually 224th. But that doesn't mean anything to me, because they play some of the best defense in the nation, so it doesn't really matter. And they have one of the best. They have their top 100 in shooting percentage as well, too. So there's a lot of things working in their favor. They also have 4 guys averaging double figures. Amari Bailey should be back full strength tonight as well, too. He did play somewhat in the USC game, but he'll be back. He's back. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be definitely back tonight. He played 23 minutes, had 11 points against USC. Kind of quiet, but, he had missed 7 games in a row prior to that. So he's back. And I think that, pretty much he had the foot issue, and he had 11 points last time out. He should be able to have a big game tonight because this is Washington. So he really gets to get some real good action here in a conference game, so we can see exactly what he brings to the table to help this UCLA team enhance. Because truthfully, him coming back is significant, but it's more of a luxury than a need, as I keep saying. The guy is really good, but at the end of the day, the Bruins would still be who they are with or without him. It's just that simple. So we'll see how it goes, though, and I truly do feel that UCLA should be able to run away with this one, but they are a 17.5-point favorite in this spot. This is a game that they really can't slip up in. Now, covering will be kind of difficult because that is a big spread for them, but they can easily beat these guys by 20 or better. But UCLA is just really trying to get themselves a win. When you're desperate for a win, sometimes you might play down to the competition a little bit, and then it takes a while for you to actually win the game because you have to get back your momentum. And I think that's exactly what will probably occur tonight with UCLA. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. UCLA, number 9 in the nation, looking to bounce back tonight at Pauley against Washington. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right. We got ourselves some Blue Crew Daily today, and we got James Outman, of the Dodgers. James Outman, who's a part of the youth movement, and the Dodgers all in on the youth movement. Is it the right thing to do? I think it is. Last time the Dodgers went all in on a youth movement, they wound up it was the beginning of a lot of things. It was about 17 years ago, but it was pretty much the beginning of the Dodgers setting themselves up to be the most dominant run ever in the NL West, because this team has won 11 out of the last 12 West titles. So the Dodgers, I've said the story before on who they added. This was the Ethier, James Loney, Russell Martin, Chad Billingsley. The list goes on and on, man. You know what I mean? They traded for Andre Ethier. And they had Andy LaRoche, also had Juan Guzman, who was a highly touted player. They traded him for Lugo. So they brought up literally one night, they literally had all 9 guys that were their top prospects playing. Okay. And I think that, and they were good. It was fun to watch. They were killing it. You know what I mean? And they really moved them all on for assets because the Dodgers were chasing playoffs. They were chasing things. Then they were trying to make sure that they cashed that they kept the season going. This is when McCourt was still the owner as well too. So the Dodgers weren't the machine that they are today. They were a team that still had to go through the motions of trying to win a very tough NL West at the time, because the Rockies were still a pretty good team at the time. Diamondbacks were a good team at the time. And the Giants were the Giants. They were always competing. And then the Padres were Padres were doing pretty good at that time as well too. So it wouldn't be the runs that the Dodgers are getting now, where the Dodgers go and literally win 90% of the games against the D-backs and the Rockies, you know what I mean? Because those games are almost JV now. So the Dodgers with this group is probably better because they have a lot of guys that are just really good, like Ryan Pepio, who's seen as the next big thing for pitching in LA. You also have James Outman, who stepped on the scene, had himself an incredible debut for the Dodgers. Also, you have Gavin Lux, who's the senior member of the youth movement, and he's been trying his hardest to really crack the Dodgers lineup. He's had some defensive issues. They're trying to find a position for him, but he seems to be a guy who is a can't miss all-star as well too. And the Dodgers just have a lot of good things going for him. And Miguel Vargas is the one that everybody gets excited about. He's the most highly touted player in the out of all the rookies. that guy looks to have himself a great career coming forward. If it's not with the Dodgers, it'll be with somebody in this league. And the Dodgers just really have a lot to offer down in the farm. And these guys are chomping at the bit to finally show exactly what they're all about. I know that I watch a lot of Dodger games, and the Dodgers just can't miss when it comes to these prospects. They've had every guy that they've literally brought up over the last 5 years has been able to contribute. And they haven't been a guy where it's like, well, I don't know if he's cut out for the MLB. The Dodgers are just so stacked that it's really tough for a rookie to really make that team at this point. But now, since they've cleaned house, those older veterans are gone. Now they're going to replace those guys with cheaper options, being these rookie players, these young players. And I still really don't feel like the Dodgers are going to miss a beat, because as long as the Dodgers pitching is A1, the Dodgers have no worries. It's that simple. The Dodgers have invested enough money in pitching, and they have the best pitching coach in baseball, and Mark Pryor. So they have a lot of things going well for them in that accord. And as long as their pitching is on point, the Dodgers should still be that team. Okay. So that's my 2 cents on that. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take us a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to go ahead and jump into the NBA for tonight. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Kappa, and I'll be right back at you.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Kappa, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into it. The NBA Thursday night. We got 7 games tonight. Some important games here as well, too. You got a good game on TNT tonight with the Grizzlies and the Cavaliers. And then you got the late slate. It's funny because the late slate is actually a 9 o'clock start in Milwaukee tonight. So that game is usually slated for a West Coast team, and tonight they don't have a West Coast team in place because they didn't want to use the Nuggets Warriors game, because I know that they had the Warriors. I think they have the Warriors playing last night. Well, I think the Warriors were their game the other night on Tuesday, so they're trying not to be too much into the Warriors. They're not trying to be too disappointed, because we all know the Warriors are not the best road team. So pretty much here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We got the Grizzlies and the Cavs up first. 32-19 for the Grizzlies. Cavaliers are 31-22. The Cavs lost their last game to Miami as well too. They were a favorite there. They're actually are they the dog tonight? I just want to double check and make sure that they're not. I don't think that they are the dog tonight. I think that I made a mistake. I just want to double check though, because I doubt very seriously one of the teams with the best records in the NBA would be a dog, and they're not. So, yeah, they got one of the best records at home. So they're not going to be the dog tonight. So I'm flipping it now. So the Grizzlies coming here very high on the dog list tonight. And, the Cavaliers just have not been good to me against the top tier teams in the NBA, especially at home. Even though they got one of the better home records in the league, they still have their problems. Like the other night against the Heat, like they just refuse to beat them. So Memphis is coming back off of a very, very stagnant end of the month. They lost 5 games in a row on their last road trip. They finally got back home, got themselves 2 good wins, and now they're back on the road. Will their road woes continue? That's my question. So this tonight is a game where it's really tough to pick a side, but it's really easy to play the over under on the scoreboard. And I think tonight what happens in this spot is this. For me, I got this one with the over under. I like the over tonight for this game. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I do like the over a lot in this spot. So there it is. There it is. Grizzlies and the Cavs. We move forward from there. All right. So we got the Knicks and the Heat. The Knicks and the Heat. This is a good game. And you already know this was a great, great, great rivalry back in the 90s. These teams used to literally catch the fade on the court, the last of their kind. You know, these guys had several fights with each other, one in New York, one in Miami. You know what I mean? Pat Riley breaking up stuff, Stan Van Gundy breaking up stuff. You know what I mean? So it's always classic to talk about those games and everything like that. But you have a Heat team coming in here feeling good about themselves. They're playing better basketball, as I said before. They just came off of a win the other night against the Cavaliers. You got the Knicks who could have beat the Lakers the other night, but they ran into a little bit of a obstacle. In a sense, it's called Julius Randle. Julius Randle decided to not participate in being a team player there the other night, so it kind of messed them up. But you know, the Knicks have dropped their last 3 out of 5, but they recently had a pretty good win over the Boston Celtics on the road as well too. Now the Heat have won their last 4 out of 5, as I said before. Only hiccup was a loss in Charlotte, so the Heat are coming in here as the hotter team in this spot. But I truly do think that this game does wind up being really close tonight. And I think with the bad taste in New York's mouth from not being able to win the other night, they wind up edging this one out. I like them with the plus 115 tonight. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. Knicks and the Heat at the Garden. So we'll see. So let's hope for the best. Let's hope the Knicks go ahead and get us a win here tonight. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into the Pelicans and the Mavericks tonight. The Pelicans and the Mavericks, 26 and 26 for the Pelicans, 27 and 25 for the Mavs. These teams are all scratching and clawing for the playoff spots that are open, because as I keep saying, spots from 4 to 10 are all wide open. So these guys change places like with every win and loss. Okay, so right now you have the Pelicans on the outside looking in. They're still in a play-in, but they're the 10th seed. And then you have Dallas, who's here, and they're the 5 seed. So you see if the conundrum in this. If you have New Orleans win tonight, Dallas, you know, it depends on what happens with Phoenix and Utah tonight and Golden State tonight. So that would make actually Minnesota move up tad bit tonight. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's wild. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And the Lakers have their game today against the Pacers. So if the Lakers were able to get themselves a win tonight and say you get New Orleans to beat Dallas tonight, the Lakers would be able to move somewhat into the group, you know what I mean? But the Lakers do have a very important game against the Pelicans on Saturday now, since the Pelicans have fallen all the way to the 10th seed. But, you know, right now Dallas is cool. They're sitting pretty, even though they dropped their last 6 out of 10 as well too. But I still think tonight this one is what's going on, nephew. I hope everything's good with you. Glad that you are tuned in with us today. Thank you so much. All right, so Pelicans waiting on Zion. We know that. And Dallas is waiting on somebody other than Luka to be their most significant scorer as well too. Okay, so this is really like a toss-up in a sense, but I truly do feel like the Mavs, who are so much better at home than they are on the road, they should be really good in this spot. They may not, and they've been having a tough time covering this year, but I don't think they have a tough time covering in this game, even though New Orleans has become kind of an arch rival here since they're all in the Southwest Division. So I do like what I see here, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Mavericks with the 4.5 tonight. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. We move forward from there. All right, so we have ourselves the Warriors at the Nuggets. The Warriors at the Nuggets. This one is going to be the Nuggets coming in here, best record in the Western Conference, 35-16. The Warriors 26-25, fresh off of a loss to the Wolves. So, you got a tired team in the Warriors, man, because they're back on the road and they're struggling again. And, they got a good win the other night against the Thunder on Monday to start this week off. But last night they went in there and they absolutely got shredded by the Timberwolves. And tonight it doesn't get better when you got to play against the Nuggets, a team that is absolutely rolling right now. And, Jokic is just doing Jokic things as we speak. And they're a 12-point favorite tonight at home. You would never even pictured this at the beginning of the season, that the Warriors will be this big of a dog coming into the game. But if you're a really, really staunch bettor who really likes value and things like that, this could be your night to come up big. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are going to write off the Warriors. I truly do feel like they will write off the Warriors tonight. And I know I ride them the hardest about their situation on the road, how bad they've been on the road. Now, they had a tale of 2 months, but they did finish the month winning 3 straight, and they lost the other night to Minnesota. That snapped that streak. So they actually are putting it together, but they're on the road. The road has not been their friend. They're going to be majority at home this month, but still, the road has not been their friend. So it's tough for me to really say, okay, Warriors should win this game tonight, because it's a tough task for them to win the game tonight. But I definitely think that the Warriors come into this one and they can cover this game tonight. So I like them with the plus 12. I know they're going to be a little shorthanded because they're not playing Steph on back-to-backs yet. So we'll see. I like it. Plus 12 on the Warriors tonight. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. We move forward from there. All right, so our last game that we're going to talk about is the game that is the second half of the double hitter on TNT, and that's going to be the Bucks and the Clippers. The Clippers coming here 29-25. The Bucks are 34-17, -4 spread to the Bucks tonight. Over under 230.5. The Bucks looking to get themselves a very, very strong statement win tonight, because a lot of people are looking at this like this quite possibly could be the NBA Finals. I don't know about all that, because we know that a certain team can't ever stay healthy. So people already putting them in a position that they possibly won't be in is just hilarious to me in all senses of the word. So I truly do feel like the Bucks have a chance, but the Clippers, you're really going to have to wait and see exactly what that team is going to do, okay? Now, the Bucks had a pretty good end of the month. They wound up winning 5 straight to close out January. This is their first game of February. So they're coming in here very confident against the Clippers as they play their third game of a 4-game homestand. And I know that they want to sweep this thing out so they can keep the momentum going. So you have this team, they're playing great basketball, 5 in a row, no problem. And then you got the Clippers, who are very set on kind of taking their time, because they are one of the deeper rosters in the NBA. And this is coming from somebody who absolutely despises the Clippers, okay? But one thing I will say, I got love for Kawhi, great player. PG was always a guy that I was high on, and wishing he was going to be a Laker. We all really had that in the back of we had that really burnt in the back of our heads that he was going to be a Laker. It didn't happen. But some days I always tell myself I would have much rather had him than LeBron. So then I could have kept my kids. So the Clippers, they finished January with a bang. They won 6 out of 7. And this is their first game of the year as well. Their first game of February as well, too. So this game is right on the money about where it's at on the hype train tonight. You got two teams that are sitting in the top four, that are sitting in the top spots in their respective conference playoff standings. And this is a good little idea of a possible finals matchup, because this is the first year where we really can't guarantee who's going to be in the finals. We were spoiled because we knew it was going to be Warriors and Cavs, and before that, we knew it was going to be possibly like the Spurs and the Heat, or the Spurs or the Heat and the Thunder, or those teams, because those teams were top tier teams in the West, or the Lakers and the Celtics. But this year, it's not like that. This year is more about, okay, we got these teams here, but who's going to really be the best team in the NBA at the end of the day? Who's going to be the best team come June? And right now, we don't know. And seriously, this is the biggest parity you'll ever see in the NBA playoffs. Seeding absolutely does not matter this season in the Western Conference. And literally, there's 4 teams in the East right now that have already pretty much broke away from the pack, and whoever wins out those 4 will be the representative in the finals. And you have no clue who's going to be out of Philly, the Bucks, Celtics, and the Nets. So there it is. There it is. What I see here tonight is an under. We got 231 on the board. I think that both these teams play up to it. We all know that the Clippers are one of the low-scoring teams in the league, and we all know that the Bucks are a team that really does try to hammer home their defensive principles. So there it is. There it is. With that, we're going to go ahead and take another quick commercial break. And when we get back, we will talk those tickets, okay? So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right. All right. So it's that time. It's your favorite time of the show. My favorite time of the show. It's time for Talkin Tickets. And what do we have today for Talkin Tickets? First, we got a 51-1 ticket, the PrimeTime PK6. Florida Atlantic today, plus 110, number 19 team in the nation. Their highest ranking ever as well, too, when it comes to basketball. Austin Pay. With the plus 16. We got Troy tonight with the minus 120. We got the Utah Utes with the minus 6. And then we have Loyola Marymount with the plus 5. And then we have Montana with the minus 7. So there it is, 51-1, CBB PrimeTime PK6. All right, we move forward and we have ourselves the CBB DogDay PK4, which is 53-1. We have Mercer Moneyline plus 130. We have Wright State plus 180. We have Omaha plus 130. And then we have Tennessee State plus 265. And this is going to be a 53-1 ticket. And single what you like. And you guys already know what the deal is. This is a pretty fun ticket right here because we're dealing with all the small schools and mid majors today. So these games really go wherever they want to go. So hopefully we can get these bad boys home at 53-1. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. We move forward from there. All right, so we have ourselves the NBA Super High Five, 28-1, the over 223 with the Grizzlies and the Cavs. We got the Knicks tonight, money line plus 115, Mavs minus 4.5, the Warriors plus 12 tonight, and then we finish up with the under 231 with the Clippers and the Bucks. So there it is. There it is. That's going to be our group for tonight. We got ourselves a lot of value going on as well too, so you guys make sure to not miss out on it, man. This is a good day to make some good money, man, on a Thursday as you walk into the weekend. So let's hopefully get one of these bad boys home, and if we do get it home, hit me up, let me know, you know what I mean, and let's get you right, because we've been taking care of business nicely, and sometimes, I'm not begging for tips or anything like that, but, you guys can say, hey, Pop, you know what? Thank you for the 50, 60 to ones. You know what I mean? Because don't nobody just be handing them to you guys like that. So it's all good. But, pay some homage, as I like to say. So pretty much, there it is. There it is. I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in today. You guys are the absolute best. And I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking some college basketball as well, too, as we go into the weekend. And it's Metro Friday as well, too. So we'll have that Metro game of the day. So I look forward to it. I thank you guys very much once again for tuning in. And this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.